Two teams remain in the Calder Cup finals. Welcome to the Griffins Pipeline Podcast.
Welcome back to the Griffins Pipeline Podcast. We are a podcast brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network, and we are sponsored by DraftKings. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Connor.
And I am Kyle. We are a show brought to you by the fans for the fans. We are not officially sponsored by the Grand Rapids Griffins or Detroit Red Wings. We just love Grand Rapids Griffins. We want to build the community. We want to get more people involved, spread the knowledge of the AHL, and just kind of update you guys as this offseason goes along. So there's a lot of news going on.
Yeah, so Gabriel signs a contract to the Detroit Red Wings. So
yeah, it looks like a 1-year deal for the 25-26 season, and I'm kind of excited about this one. Scored 10 goals in his first season for Grand Rapids. Decided it was enough to bring him back. His two-way style, both being physical and reliable defensively, and putting pucks in the net along the way, got him another contract. So being +5 and a team that really kind of fell off at the end of the season, Seger was one of the only reliable pieces. So
and he's 25 years old, so he'll be playing in his prime. I just see him being like a solid depth piece here in Grand Rapids. I'm hoping to see him contribute good and maybe possibly get a little bit more goals this year, a little bit more points. But yeah, the +5 really impressive.
really like to see Seger back, and mainly it's just that in front of the net presence that I like. Yeah, looking to build on that first season, maybe get more than 10 goals and really bolster the bottom 6 forward group. So then we have Michal Postava signs a 2-year entry-level contract for the Detroit Red Wings. Looks like Elite Prospects here has him slated to start for the Grand Rapids Griffins next year with Kosa.
Yeah, I've actually been seeing some stories of people saying that he might be stealing some of Coach's NHL time, which is interesting to see. Maybe this is something that gives Kosa a fire and gives him more competition, and then, or maybe this could be a bad move. It's an interesting one for sure, but another solid goalie. It's never bad to have another goalie, so that's cool. But at that point, what happens to Jack Campbell is the real question.
Yeah, I think that's what it points to me is signing him. Maybe we are moving on from Jack Campbell. I still think there's a spot for him. But either Jan Bednar or Jack Campbell is probably going to decide to play elsewhere at this point in a jam-packed goalie room. So some pretty good numbers here from Postava over in the Czechia League. Playing in the Czechia 2 League, he had a .932 and a .943 save percentage back-to-back years. Good to see that. And just anytime you're under 2 goals against average, that's some pretty good stuff. So in the playoffs and in 2024, having a 1.84 goals against average is pretty good.
It doesn't look like he ever goes under 90% in any stats since 2002, 2003. I mean, he's maintained for a couple of years now. Very good goals against average and a very good save percentage. So it is interesting to see what he's going to do coming in here, probably playing in Grand Rapids, challenging Kosa.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing. Push to challenge Kosa so he has to fight for that roster spot. And yeah, I mean, this goalie room, being that Augustine is not coming this year, looks like he will fully commit to MSU. We're going to have some time for things to work themselves out a little bit. So Postava looks like a decent signing, in my opinion.
Axel Sandin Pellikka wins the Elite Prospect Award.
It'll be the European Young Player of the Year award. And out of the SHL, Axel Sandin Pellikka really impressed in this 24-25 season, scoring 12 goals, getting 17 assists for 29 points, 46 games. Solid numbers for a defenseman there, especially in the goal-scoring department.
Yeah, very impressive work by Axel Sandin Pellikka this year.
So we can talk about another player overseas in Dmitry Bachelnikov. It sounds like his club that he played for last year, Vityaz of Moscow region, is no longer going to be a hockey club in the KHL. So CSKA Moskva has picked him up as giving some monetary rights to Vityaz. And yeah, it looks like as they are no longer a club, he just will join Moskva and not join the Grand Rapids Griffins as we thought he might. So unfortunate news here regarding Dmitry Pochelnikov.
It's never over with those Russian guys. There's like a lot can happen real fast.
Hope for the best there with Dmitry Pochelnikov as he's a 20-year-old. Things are moving forward in his timeline. We'd like to see him over in North America eventually, as his goal scoring ability in the KHL has looked lethal.
Yeah, back in 2022 when the Red Wings drafted him in the second round to the 52nd, high expectation and high praise for him. And he's been in Russia ever since. We've been really hoping to get him over. But Shelnikov was one of the top scorers next to Michal, who plays for the Flyers, and hopefully we can actually see him over here someday.
Yeah, 54 points in 65 games for Vityaz last season. So obviously he's going to look to improve on that as well. So in other news, we got the Great Lakes Invitational coming back to the Van Andel Arena as Michigan State, Ferris State, Miami University, and Michigan Tech hockey will all be under the same building battling for the Macinus Cup, in which it'll be a 2-day event, December 28th and 29th. All 4 teams will go head-to-head to the lineup, and 29th will be the championship. Good to have this back in Van Andel Arena. Looking to build on the hockey fans that come to the arena.
So it'll be Michigan State, Ferris State, Miami, and Michigan Tech.
Yep. So interesting to see there. It's going to be something I'm going to be trying to make it down to for the Van Andel Arena. Another good event there. We're going to move into the postseasons for some of these hockey leagues as the Toledo Walleye season is over. Unfortunately, they did not come up with the Kelly Cup for the ECHL championship. The Trios Ramirez Lions defeated them 4-1 in the final round.
Yeah, very disappointing to watch the Walleye fall. Again, they always get really close, and this really kind of felt like the year for them, but they fall short once again, and this is a big one because we're losing Trenton Bliss and Tyler Spiza both, who are huge Toledo guys, and it's going to be hard to replace some guys like that.
Obviously, with Toledo looking forward to next season, as always, they should be right back in there. We can move on into the Stanley Cup Finals.
So Florida Panthers and Edmonton Oilers are tied 2-2. A bunch of fun games. Nice to see these guys light each other up. Real chippy games. 2-2, tied up. That's what you hope for is a really good.
Unfortunately, Jeff Skinner has kind of fallen in this Stanley Cup playoffs. Things are not going well for him, but Calvin Pickard has rose to the challenge. Trending back to his days, to 2019 and 20 when he was a player for the Detroit Red Wings and the Grand Rapids Griffins, getting 33 games for us way back then, being our starting goaltender.
Yeah, he was like the best player on our team when he was on our team. We had the best goalie, but we had like everyone else around him wasn't that great. Those were the dark years of the Grand Rapids Griffins, I feel like. But Calvin Pickard was amazing. I was really sad when we lost him.
Yeah, and we lost him to the Edmonton Oilers, where he did start on the Bakersfield Condors in 23, and then moved up to the Oilers, where he got 23 games and 2.45 goals against average and a .909 save percentage, and looked really good in the playoffs last year, and continuing that this year, where he's continued to hold that above 90% save percentage, and now in the playoffs, 7-0 this year, undefeated, looking to take the Florida Panthers down. It looks like.
Yeah, I love to see Grand Rapids Griffins playing the Stanley Cup. That's the coolest stuff.
For sure. Gotta love it and gotta recognize it. Moving on from the Stanley Cup, we'll go to our department, the Calder Cup playoffs, where things are starting to kick off in Abbotsford and Charlotte, where they have locked head-to-head for this final matchup in the Calder Cup finals.
2 teams remain. Punches are being thrown.
Yeah, first game going to a double overtime where Abbotsford comes up with the win. So leading off game 1.
Yeah, games where the Charlotte Checkers heavily actually outshot Abbotsford. It's just Abbotsford's goalie's just been on a tear.
Yeah, Love has been just dominant all playoffs long. The Stars ran into him. Coachella Valley ran into him. And
Colorado.
not that Capital Kakin hasn't been on film, but that first matchup really went to show you that these goalies are here to play. So on top of the AHL playoffs going on, the AHL top prospect team has been announced, in which Sebastian Coso was not on it due to his decline in the second half of the season. So Jet Greaves was named as the top prospect goaltender for the Cleveland Monsters and the Columbus Blue Jackets as a 24-year-old and undrafted free agent. He gets the nod as the goalie for the AHL All-Star prospect team. Logan Mello gets the defenseman nod for the Laval Rocket. 22-year prospect for the Montreal Canadiens. Scott Morrow gets the other defenseman nod for the Chicago Wolves and the Carolina Hurricanes. 39 points in 52 games for the Chicago Wolves. Dalibor Dvorsky gets a nod as a forward for the Springfield Thunderbird and the St. Louis Blues. 19-year-old rookie with 21 goals in his first season. Consta Helenas, forward for the Rochester Americans, the Buffalo Sabres. 14 goals, 21 assists for 35 points in 65 games for Rochester as the youngest regular in the AHL season. And then Bradley Nadeau gets the last forward nod also for the Chicago Wolves. Just 1 in 5 players to register a 30-goal season in the AHL before the age of 20. So it looks like the Carolina Hurricanes, after all, gave the Chicago Wolves some top-tier prospects, and they did well with them, making this top prospects team for 24-25 season. That being said, we can go ahead and get into our DraftKings ad, where I just want to remind everyone that Calder Cup finals are coming down to an end here. Stanley Cup finals coming down to an end here. If you want to make your bets, make your bets now.
The fastest game on ice just hit another gear. Welcome to the Stanley Cup Finals, where legends are made and every shift can turn the tide. And now, with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can take every slap shot, breakaway, and overtime thriller to the next level. New to betting on the Stanley Cup Final? You're in for an exciting time. Getting started is a breeze. Fire up the DraftKings Sportsbook app, pick your team to win, lock in your wager, and you're off to the races. It's fast, simple, and puts you in the middle of the action. You don't have a whole lot of time to bet on Florida or the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup. Here's the kicker. New customers who bet $5 will score $300 in bonus bets if their wager hits. That's right, turn $5 into a Stanley Cup final payout. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN. That's promo code THPN to unlock $300 in bonus bets when your $5 bet wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-97777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Minimum minus 500 odds required. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Copyright 2025 NHL.
Into the penalty box for 2-minute minor, 4-minute double minor, 5-minute major, or a game misconduct. Kyle, who are you throwing into the penalty box?
All right, so anybody that is direct messaging Jeff Skinner about his struggles in the Stanley Cup playoffs, giving him death threats, any trouble at all is getting a 5-minute major. This is just unorderly conduct. If you're fans of a hockey team and you're sending your goalie death threats. Like, dude, come on with this. This should not be a thing. Anybody that sent Jeff Skinner a DM during this playoffs that's not his family or someone that actually belongs sending him a DM, it's a 5-minute major.
Have fun in the box. Yeah, I agree. You can't just bail on your goalie because he's in the Stanley Cup Finals and he's having a hard time. Like, newsflash, it's the hardest game of the whole year. The two best teams playing, it's the hardest stuff. You start to see weaknesses, and it's just don't ever do that to your goalie.
And even if it's the Florida fans that are texting him this stuff, like, just get it together. You know, it's sickening. And yeah, I believe he said it himself. It's just deranged conduct by some of the fans. So just leave the guy alone. Let him do his job. So obviously Calvin Pickard's doing a great job as a backup and kind of stepping in. But like Jeff Skinner was the goalie for how long? Forever with Edmonton. So just kind of a little bit disheartening, I'm sure, for the whole fan base that someone in their fan base, even someone, would send a message like that.
Yeah, have fun in the box. Yeah, so who I'm throwing into the box, I'm throwing in Aaron Rodgers and Antonio Brown. Aaron Rodgers joins the Pittsburgh Steelers, comes out of the New York Jets, and plans to hook up with Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown was arrested on intent to murder. No one wanted him. He comes back, goes, wins the Super Bowl with Tom Brady. Looking for a new kind of reunion like that, like he did with Brady. He sees Rodgers go to Pittsburgh, go back to his original place, one more shot. But his shot will be cut short as he was arrested on attempted murder charges. So that will probably be the last we see of Antonio Brown. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty, but it's not looking good. Game misconduct.
Yep. Never was a fan of the guy. Never liked the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Aaron Rodgers can do a penalty box with him for all I'm concerned.
Fun in the box.
So that should wrap us up today. This is officially the last chance to get into the Cross Hanas poster and puck giveaway. So make sure you comment on the featured post on Facebook, Twitter. Get yourself in there for a chance to win this poster puck combo. We'll be doing that probably in the next 2 weeks. Just got to get our hats here so we can get them out to you guys. So as soon as that happens, giveaway we'll draw and we'll send them out. So time is limited.
Yeah, thanks for listening. See you next time.
Go Griffins.
Go Griffins.
Thank you for listening to the Griffins Pipeline podcast. If you enjoyed the show, give us a 5-star review. We are part of the Hockey Podcast Network. We are not partnered with the Grand Rapids Griffins, Detroit Red Wings, or Toledo Walleye. We are not experts. We are just die-hard fans looking to make a community with others alike. Let's go Griffins Nation. Join the fun, like, and follow us on Facebook and X. Or call into the show and have your opinion heard 1-616-319-1175. Thank you. Grand Rapids Griffins, Toledo Walleye, and Detroit Red Wings. Players, coaches, websites, and social media. Thank you AHL.com, NHL.com, ETL.com, EliteProspects.com, and anyone else putting out information on the teams. Until next time, go Griffins. Go Red Wings, go Walleye.